where my shelves are taken down, but I thought they'll do.
Of course, you have so much time on your hands at this time of the year, don't you, Tracey?
Do Ken? Do you know what? I just think it's just so much. I don't know what to do with myself. A few 36-hour days would be fabulous.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Just time stopping still, maybe standing still for a while. That'd be good.
Just slow down a bit.
We're on that hamster wheel.
That's right.
Give one more minute, Jill.
Yeah. What would you like to do about Mr. Park?
We'll go through the usual spiel as we have to, and we'll give him the opportunities to identify himself as normal, and if not, then I'm afraid we'll just follow the same procedure and we'll put him back in the waiting room until he can identify, if that's okay.
Okay.
Till we can...
Okay. I think we're waiting for Keith Protheroe.
Yes, we are, aren't we?
As well.
Yeah. Cara's going to join us later. Yes, that's it, isn't it? Who's on there? Eleanor, yeah, just Keith Protheroe.
Yeah.
I've got no door on my office, so I've had to shut the cats in other rooms, and I'm just hoping that they don't break out when they realise that I'm sat here.
Oh, well, then it'll go viral and you become world famous in 5 minutes.
Woo, I didn't think of that, Mike. Oh.
Unusual for Keith to be late, I have to say.
It is, isn't it?
Very prompt.
Are you happy to start in a couple of minutes then, Tracey?
Yes, I will do. I'm just messaging Keith.
You know what? I was going to say, do you want me to knock on his door?
I'll him.
Okay.
I'm messaging him, that's it.
So we'll give it till 8 minutes past.
Absolutely fine.
10 past.
Keith Protheroe.
Is Keith joining us for the parish meeting?
Yes, he is.
We're waiting for him.
That's okay. Don't worry. He's just coming along.
I'll get him down and see him. All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Mike.
She's gone to summon him.
No.
I would think.
So before we start, can I ask everybody, apart from Jill and myself at the moment, to put themselves on mute just for the time being, please? Okay, all right, we can do that then, no problem.
Right.
Hi, Keith.
Sorry about that, I froze.
Do you want to start, Tracey?
Yes, please. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Annual Assembly for Dunchurch Parish Council. Welcome. I hope that you'll gain some insight from this evening and be able to put your points across or get some views and ideas of what we've been up to over the last 12 months. I do have part that I have to read out first as a legal obligation, so please bear with me whilst I read through it. The Parish Assembly may by law discuss all parish affairs and pass resolutions on them. Photographing, reporting, recording, filming or transmitting the proceeding of any meeting may occur, and therefore all persons participating in the meeting should be aware that such recording, reporting or filming may take place. Members of the public attending the meeting, but who are not participating in the meeting, who do not wish to be filmed or photographed in the meeting, must state this at the start of the meeting. During remote meetings, if a member of the public wishes to record the meeting, they may do so, if they are present whilst the recording takes place and can be positively identified during the meeting. If any member of the public cannot be positively identified when asked if they are present, the chair reserves the right to request the termination of the contact with the meeting host. Now, we've tried a little while ago. Sorry, hi Jane. You can unmute, sorry. You're muted, Jane.
Okay, hi. I'm on my iPhone and I don't understand why I have got a little box at the top saying recording, which is flashing.
It means that I'm recording it.
Okay. I've never seen it before. Okay.
Yeah, that's just a standard procedure that we record our meetings, but it's more that members of the public can record, and so if you don't want to be identified, then we can address that.
Okay, that's fine.
Is that all right?
Yeah, I think Mr. Parker's gone now.
He has gone, hasn't he?
Okay.
Okay. Well, everybody else is visible, so we can continue on with the meeting. So, as I said, welcome. We're now going to start the meeting officially. Jill, can I go to item number 2, please? Have we had any apologies for this evening?
We have Councillor Stephen Corder, who isn't very well. Rugby Borough Councillor Peter Eccleston, who is attending the RBC planning meeting tonight. I haven't heard from Councillor Roberts, either Councillor Roberts, although I do have a little piece that has been submitted, so I'll read that in his stead. However, I need to point out that because of PERDA, they have been advised not to attend parish council meetings anyway.
That makes perfect sense. So the PERDA period ends after the election?
It does.
On the 6th of May? Okay, that's fine, thank you. Thank you for that. So moving on to item number 3 is the approval of the minutes of the last meeting, which was the 1st of April 2019. This is the last annual parish assembly minutes. Unfortunately, none of the councillors present were actually councillors at the time of the meeting. So I'd ask if any members of the public were present at the annual assembly, which took place on the 1st of April 2019, and if they were, if they could give their opinion on the minutes of that meeting.
Was there anybody at the meeting?
I think I was.
Okay. Have you both seen copies of the minutes on the website?
No.
Right. Okay, are you happy to approve it? Approve the contents?
I've read it as well, I'll approve it as well.
Sorry?
I've read it and I'll approve it.
Who said that? I'm sorry.
Keith Brushett.
Keith, brilliant. Okay, I beg your pardon. So you're happy to second it?
Yes.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, both. Thank you. Just tell me when you're ready, Jill, and we'll move on.
Okay. I think it's probably anyway. So if you're happy, I will read the report that has been submitted. Oh,
Yes, please.
hang on.
So-
Mr. Park is trying to gain admittance again. Oh, there we go. Hello, Mr. Park. So shall I carry on with the Rugby Borough Council report?
Yes, please, Jill. Thank you.
Okay. All three councillors, that is Councillor Howard Roberts, Peter Eccleston and Deepa Roberts, have been involved in issues of hedging, potholes, trees and public litter bin emptying. They have been engaged with individuals in the borough to assist with their housing needs and liaise with their housing department on a number of other welfare issues. Dealing with these issues and helping people and gaining a positive outcome makes the councillor's role satisfying. I am pleased to say that the issues that all three councillors have worked on have all had positive outcomes. They have also been engaged in discussions surrounding the development of a new recycling centre, which will serve the borough, Coventry and Solihull, plus other districts. The plant will be one of the most advanced in the country. It is a significant investment and development and will lead the way technologically. For much of the power for the plant will come from solar panels mounted on the roof of the building. They aim to start the building works later this year, with the site coming online in 2023. Whilst much of the detail behind this is commercially confidential, we will feed you more information over the coming months as it is released. In addition to committee works regarding recycling, fly tipping and graffiti, they are looking at the formulation of strategies on all three subjects and addressing the root causes of fly tipping and graffiti in particular. More details will emerge. On the 20th of April, Councillor Bill Lewis had his last night officiating over a full council meeting as chair. The mayor making ceremony will be conducted on the 20th of May, when Councillor Deepa Roberts will become Mayor of Rugby at a ceremony which will also be streamed live on YouTube. Your new mayor is already taking bookings for opening fakes, etc., so get your requests in early. The last mayor from our area was former councillor Bill Shields, who regretfully passed away on the 11th of December in 2018. Bill was mayor of the borough for the 2002-2003 municipal year and a councillor for Dunchurch and Knightlow ward from 1990 to 2008. They've also been active in influencing the developers and owners of the former Moji restaurant at Stretton and the former Bull and Bush public house at Brighton to clean up both sites, which were demolished and are attracting fly tipping. It has also been brought to our attention that a resident of Dunchurch has moved out of the area. Mr. Robin Aird served on Dunchurch Parish Council for 17 years, 10 of those years as chair. He has also been a trustee of the Almshouse charity, that's Newcombe and Spears, for 10 years, and has been a volunteer at the Dunchurch Community Library since its takeover by the Parish Council. Robin also chaired the Neighbourhood Planning Committee, and he spearheaded the negotiations with Warwickshire County Council when Dunchurch PC took over the library when it was threatened with closure, and he secured the covered bus stop on Southern Road, Dunchurch, against a great deal of opposition from planners. It is the dedication of individuals like Robin on your parish councils that keep the villages going. It is not an easy task, and I know from experience that parish council work can affect social life, family commitments, and even one's own health. We the three borough councillors would like to recognise and thank all of the serving parish councillors and clerks for our support to the Rugby Borough Council and Warwickshire County Council councillors, which in turn helps us to undertake our work on behalf of the constituents of our Dunsmore ward. And I have since written a letter to Mr. Aird, thanking him for his sterling work on behalf of the parish council.
You certainly have. Thank you very much. At the top of the report is Warwickshire County Council. Are you able to read that, or are we leaving that?
I'm happy to read it as well.
If you want to, just because item 5 is from Howard's report, just to cover it.
Yeah. So Howard has been engaged in a cross-party working group looking at on-street parking across the county. Much attention has been given to residents' parking permits within Rugby Borough. This work has been temporarily suspended due to the forthcoming elections. Findings of this working party will probably come out to public consultation before any decisions are finalised. Howard has also been involved in road safety issues and better lighting on the A45 at Longdown Lane, Willoughby, where there have been a number of traffic fatalities. Parking plans for the grass matting, etc. on Atkinson Avenue, Dunchurch, are about to go out to consultation with residents. And all three councillors have been working towards attempting to influence Warwickshire highways to reduce the speed limit along the straight mile at Bourton for safety reasons.
Thank you. Thanks, Jill. That's good to know. I'm glad we've had reports from our councillors.
I will upload a copy on attached to the minutes.
That's lovely. Thank you very much. Okay, so moving on.
Hang on, Ken.
Oh, sorry. Hi, Ken.
Hi. You mentioned, or the report mentioned, a new recycling centre. Do you know, or does anybody know, where that's going to be sited? In particular, is it going to be in Rugby, or are Rugbyans going to have to travel out of town for their recycling? Does anybody know?
It says it serves Rugby, Coventry and Solihull, so
Yeah,
I'd have thought it would have been,
That's what alerted
more
me. Because if you're trying to get rid of or reduce fly tipping, moving the recycling centre out of town doesn't seem to be a very sensible thing to do. But
I had the impression it wasn't a replacement one for Rugby. I had the thing it was an additional one, but I may be wrong, so we'll get that clarified.
Thanks.
And come back to you on that.
Thank you. The only other thing I wanted to say was how, in my opinion, terribly important it is for the Dunchurch, for the D.P.C to work closely with the Rugby Borough and the Warwickshire County Council councillors, so that we have a united team looking out for our parish, because the parish is going to be under a lot of pressure as the housing developments and the new road start to, and the I can't remember what it's called now. Symmetry, is it? Something?
Yeah.
Yeah. On the
Tritax.
Yeah. There's a hell of a lot coming up, and a united front with the three levels of council, I think, is very important.
Absolutely, totally agree, and that is our plan. Just to work as closely as we can together, as you say, and to work together with Thurleston Parish Council. I think we've all, and Corston, because we've all got key vested interests.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Ken. Are you ready to move on, Jill?
Yeah, are there any other questions on the Borough and County Council reports?
Yes, please. I mean, I think it's very unfortunate indeed that our councillors aren't there. And I've heard the story about Purdy before. We had the same problem on the eve of the planning agreements when suddenly Purda came in and no one could discuss the planning agreements. And it's most unfortunate that Peter and Howard, and indeed Deeper, if she was going to be there, is unable to be present once more at this parish assembly, because it does mean that any questions that we have for them will either have to be put into writing to them or deferred. The other comment I would make is that I'm amazed that there is no reference whatsoever from either the borough or Warwickshire County Council regarding the developments at Tritax. And in particular, I'd asked a question about from Peter. I know that he made representations on behalf of ourselves and Thurleston, etc., regarding the height of the houses. One of the very, very few things that we got the inspector to agree was that the height of the warehouses should be limited. They were already going to be very obtrusive. And he also said that the whole the question of aspect of these warehouses should be reconsidered and thought about very carefully because of how close it was to Thurleston, which is a conservation area. And at the first hurdle, it seems to me, when this was considered at the planning committee last month, they increased the height of the warehouses, I think, by another 3 metres. That probably means another 10 years of growth on any trees that they plant there. They have not mitigated the site at all. Rugby Borough Council did say they were going to mitigate it. I think the most they said was there's going to be some more trees. They haven't taken the opportunity. They've talked about huge amounts of soil that have got to be shifted, etc., etc. That would have been ideal to build a barrier on top of which they could have built the trees. And I'm amazed that there was no reference to that decision, because it was so appalling for our village and in particular for Thurleston. It is going to take best end of 50 years for those warehouses to be shielded by, and that is if they do Warwickshire oaks. They should put oaks in because that is the typical tree of Warwickshire. And if they do, the maximum height of an oak tree is about 70 feet, but that will only be achieved after 40, 50 years. And effectively, there's not going to be a proper screening of that area until our grandchildren come along. And I'm amazed there was no reference to that coming back from Pete.
Mike. Yeah, Mike, I will. I did attend that planning meeting, which Peter Eccleston is a member of the rugby. I will defend Peter in the fact that he was one of 3 councillors that voted against the planning, the full planning application for the warehouses.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, and I'm very pleased, and I'm actually thank you for that.
Yeah, it's the other 9 that voted for it that reversed a decision that they'd only made a few months before about the height of the warehouses, which I thought was undefendable, really. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mike. That will be fed back to the Borough Council, as Jill's made a note of that, and we'll try and get an answer for you on that and feedback to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Has anybody else got any questions before we move on? No? Okay. We'll move on then, Jill, to item number 6, which is my report. Are you ready? Okay, sit comfortably, everybody. You might want to get a hot chocolate. Get your blanket. It's not too long. It's very hard to try and make things concise when you're trying to put a whole year in. So please bear with me. I'd firstly like to start by personally thanking our clerk RFO Gillian Peacock for her ongoing support throughout the year. This past year has seen many challenges not faced previously by many organisations, not just local councils. A worldwide pandemic has caused unprecedented changes and fears to our normal lives. We would like to offer our sincere condolences to those who have lost loved ones during this period, whether through COVID-19 or any other cause, and have not been allowed to gather with families and friends for support during this time. This year has been an exceptional year for everyone, and we continue to offer our support to our community in any way we can. If you think we can help in any way, please do not hesitate to get in touch with one of us. All our contact details are on the website, or just give Jill a call and we'll just see however we can help, we will. I would also like to thank my fellow councillors for their support in the voluntary role, for their attendance at parish council meetings throughout the year and their contribution in all aspects of community life. In such a turbulent year, from being in court in March to gaining new councillors, we have built the D.P.C up from scratch. All councillors have undertaken various training courses to gain knowledge and strength, which we can bring and share with one another. We are one cohesive team, working together for the benefit of our community. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Ken Knott, who has moved from being a councillor to working with us on the Dunchurch Neighbourhood Plan. Dunchurch Parish Council provides benefit in many ways through our decision-making processes for the community. All our parish councillors try to do their best for the community that they serve. As you may know, the D.P.C is short of 3 councillors to represent the community in Dunchurch, and legislation demands that if 10 electors in Dunchurch request an election, by law we must have one. An election should have taken place on May the 6th. However, RBC advised us that no one had submitted nomination papers. Therefore, all the polling cards in Dunchurch had to be altered and posted out again. This is obviously an admin fee burden that the Dunchurch Parish Council is liable for. Again, due to the same legislation, RBC are required to organise and administer another election for 3 D.P.C councillors, and we will be notified of a date shortly. Once again, the D.P.C will be liable to meet the cost out of our public funds. If you're considering becoming a parish councillor, you can obtain nomination papers from either RBC or the clerk. Neighbourhood Plan. The Neighbourhood Plan team, which is developing the plan for Dunchurch, currently has 8 members. But if you would like to join us in this friendly team to help protect areas in Dunchurch from development and shape its future, please do not hesitate to get in touch. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all members of the steering group for their hard work and dedication on the Neighbourhood Plan, and the plan is progressing with the assistance of consultants. Dunchurch Library. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, Dunchurch Community Library has been closed for some time during the pandemic. However, we are looking at making the library safe for both volunteers and members of the public, and we are hoping that we'll be able to open the building in the not too distant future. Youth Service. Whilst the D.P.C remains dedicated to the success of the youth services in Dunchurch, again, the youth club has had to close because of the pandemic. We are currently liaising with youth leaders to see whether we can support the group going forwards. Crime, antisocial behaviour and security in Dunchurch Parish. Generally, levels of crime in our parish remain relatively low, and the D.P.C continues to liaise with the Safer Neighbourhoods team and the police on all matters. RBC WCC Local Authority Dialogue. The D.P.C continues to liaise with both RBC Councillor Peter Eccleston and WCC Councillor Howard Roberts, and regular contact is part of the Parish Council's activities. We thank both Councillor Eccleston and Councillor Roberts for their input into making Dunchurch such a wonderful place to live or work. Parish amenities. Playgrounds. The play facilities are regularly inspected and faults and vandalism are rectified expeditiously. We please know, last bit, village handyman. As many of you know, Matt Lee, and you will also be aware that he is unwell and has been unable to continue his duties in Dunchurch, and I'm sure that we wish him and his family best wishes. We hope that Matt makes a swift recovery. During Matt's absence, the D.P.C have engaged Darren on a temporary basis, and he has provided us with an excellent service, and we thank him for his efforts. Thank you very much. Has anybody got any questions for me?
Could I ask a question, please? Mick Judge again, on behalf of the Dave Dunchurch. There's been a lot of contention, of course, regarding all the developments, and in particular, the Alwyn Road development, not the Alwyn Road, the other road development, which led to this decision to put an extra lane in front of the statue. Now, that's despite the fact that Rugby Borough Council's own environment officers said that this additional lane offered no prospect of any mitigation for the pollution there. Unfortunately, that was out of the hands of the borough because it's a road issue and went to Warwickshire County Council. And at the inquiry, when I questioned this, first of all, the inspector said it wasn't part of the local plan because it had been passed before. And in any case, he said mitigation would come from the Spine Road. I won't ask when the Spine Road's going to be built because I don't think anybody living today knows the answer. But one thing
I do.
Okay. Excellent. I'll come to you in a minute if I may, because my real question is that the amount of pollution is recognised as being above all the levels it should be at the crossroads. Yeah. What I want to make sure is that we have a good record of the pollution levels leading up to this new lane being created, and then a further period of the levels of pollution subsequently, because I'm privately convinced and all the logic tells you that parked traffic at the crossroads caused by the lights will simply be more concentrated as a result of this. And I would like at least to know that for, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months before the change comes about, and for a longer period or 3 or 6 months afterwards, what the pollution levels are, so that we can go back perhaps to Warwickshire County Council and the borough and say, this is not a solution in any way for the problems in the middle of the church. So it's the key question is, will we have good monitoring for a long period before and a long period after the introduction of this stupid lane?
Good point.
It's a good point. The work at the crossroads is actually due to begin in June of this year.
Yes.
So we have 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Jill, we looked, didn't we, at the other conducting another survey, and I think there was one done 2019, 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
And then with the pandemic, etc., no, there was nobody that was willing to come, and we couldn't actually enforce a survey being conducted at that time. Now, as we're at the point, we have 5 weeks as of, I think it's as Monday. It'll be less than that, every 4 weeks, because they're actually due to start in the first week of June. As soon as the Paddocks, on Ashore Road at the Paddocks pub, as soon as that's finished, then they're coming to start the work in Dunchurch. With regards to the Spine Road, Jill and I had a meeting with Homes England a couple of weeks ago, and they're looking at putting the planning permission in for the road later on this year for the Spine Road. That's part of the plan, that the infrastructure must be in first before any development takes place. So the plans are going to be looking at going in within the next 6 months for the Spine Road, and then what do they call, Jill? Sorry, what are they calling it? I can't remember the actual wording. It's not a slip road, but it's not actually a bypass. The spur. It's called the Spur Road, isn't it? They're calling it the Dunchurch Spur. That is looking at being open 2022, being handed over fully 2023.
And no developments to take place until such time as that's built. And
until the.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, with regard to the housing, that is, Mike. That's with regards to the 5,500 houses that they're talking about. The part of the thing is that the Spur Road must be in first.
Right. Well, I'm wondering if they will stick to that in the same way they stuck to the level of the roofs of the warehouses at Thurleston, because I'm not confident that they will stick to these things.
Well, this is partly the reason why Homes England have secured the land, because they are the government-led organisation in the middle, which protects. That's the views that they were giving us, that they look to protect the community and help to support us. They aren't a developer. They're not going to say they're not going to sell the land off at the very end. But in the meantime, in the interim period, they are the protection and they are the liaison between us and the developers.
Good. Oh, well, that's good to know. I would like to make sure that we have some monitoring before the change in a month's time and some monitoring afterwards, or some monitoring that we've had in the past, which indicated the average level of pollution that we've had at the Duncow over a period of time, and compare it with what happens after this ridiculous road goes in.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. We have got the report from, I think it's 2019. I believe we have the report from that. I've lost Jill. Sorry, bear with me. We've lost Jill. Oh, there she is. Sorry.
No.
I couldn't see your face.
Sorry, I'm just writing in my notes. I can try and locate the report.
Fine. Thank you.
Can I just say, do people's faces have to be on this to be part of the meeting?
Pardon?
Do people's faces have to be on this as part of the meeting?
They need to be identified.
Right. What does that actually mean? So, because I can't see Paul Waller and I can't see Nicholas Peacock.
Okay. Well, I don't know about Mr. Waller.
Nicholas Peacock does keep appearing. I've seen him a few times. He appears and disappears.
Mr. Waller, right? Can you just identify that you're still present, please, at the meeting? Because all we can see is the ceiling.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Mr. Peacock, can you show yourself, please?
Pardon?
Under protest, he said.
Okay.
He's walked out again.
We know who he is, though.
Yeah.
We know that he's still there.
Yeah, I think we're just going to have to carry on.
Okay, yeah, let's carry on. Okie dokie. So moving on then, item number 7.
Hang on. I've got my hand up, Tracy.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Ken.
A few things. The first one is contentious. I don't suppose it will be very long before pollution predictions are scaled down as electric cars become more prevalent. That is going to change the whole nature of the concern. I'm just saying that, not trying to score any points, but it's almost inevitable in my mind that it's going to become less and less of an issue. Go on then, Janet. Oh, you're on mute, Jan.
Except that most of the pollution comes from diesel trucks and lorries, not from cars.
Okay.
Yeah, and agricultural vehicles.
Yes.
And the huge lorries. But I think what we have now in our favour, sad though it is the little girl that's died from pollution connected to her asthma. And I think now the coroner has identified that as a cause of death, it will give us a great deal more power to fight any conflict with pollution. But what I would like to know is who deals with monitoring it. Can we not have an ongoing meter in school so that we are aware of it?
I don't think that's possible, Jen. I think it's done in periods of time, and then because you could have a monitoring station there all the time, but then who monitors it? We need to have a condensed period and compile the reports for a certain period of time.
But how can we provide this information to support the argument if we can't have the facilities to do it?
Because it's up to us as the parish council to actually employ the services to have a survey conducted.
Right. Okay.
So we would do that. We would organise that. And then obviously publish the reports and then organise a further survey at a later date.
Yes.
if it's appropriate. So that's something that we can look at, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Tracey, you mentioned Darren.
Okay.
Is Darren a local person?
Yes.
Okay, and is he now permanently in place, or is that something for the future?
No.
Right.
No, Matt has an ongoing long-term illness.
Oh, right. He hasn't
Darren's
resigned. Sorry, I misunderstood.
No.
Right.
No, he sadly has a long-term illness. He's aware that we are offering him as much support as we possibly can.
Yeah.
He's been with us for 27 years. So I think it's only right that we do. Well, we all feel it's only right that we do. So we're going to, yes, Darren's fully aware that it's only a temporary position. He's more than willing to come and help do any role. He's in contact with Matt. They're in contact with each other, so Matt's aware. So Matt still has a position with us,
right.
And Darren is only temporary.
Thanks. In your report on the library,
yeah,
just tell us something about the planters or the raised bed that's being erected, and just run through how you envisage this being used in the future.
Yes, certainly. So this is a separate entity. This is Dunchurch Community Garden. We were approached about 2 months ago by Victoria Putz with regards to doing something within the community. She's in the process of setting up Dunchurch Community Garden as a charity. She's gone all through the processes, and things are obviously take time, red tape, they drag on. Warwickshire Libraries are more than happy for her to take. We've approached them. They're more than happy for her to take over the front, and she's drawn the plans up. We've all seen the plans as councillors, and it's to involve the community in various different aspects, really. So it's gathering everybody together. She's got lots of sponsorship for the raised beds. The idea is that the community will grow vegetables, fruits, herbs, flowers, and it's an idea that it's literally help yourself.
That's a bit I was hoping you would amplify. How is that going to work? Maybe you don't know yet.
It's still in.
It's working in other environments. Sorry,
I just wanted to say. So I only got part of this the past 10 days, and it's going to. The rationale is to aid people to work cohesively together, to aid mental health, to grow everything organically, and they want the idea system community-wise to have a range of people, ages, cultures, children, whoever can help. And then it's also, so ideally Tiggs is after gardening experts. She's like, I'm not a gardener, that's not what she's about, but that's what she really needs, somebody behind her. So we've advertised all over different Facebook pages to try to say, can increase teams, and you don't have to do it every week. You can come and go as you like. It's free and easy. Everybody is welcome. I think it's a great project, and it's in its early stages. But
is it vegetables that are going to be planted in the?
I believe so.
Is that it?
And she's then growing all plants around it to entice insects, bugs. The pollination, all that's happening. Yeah, I believe so. I believe it's plants, and she's still looking at. So initially, it's just this couple of weeks is getting the beds in, and then she's like she just needs people she needs the guidance as well, because at the minute it's a very small team. So it's an opportunity. If anybody wants to join, get involved, please do. It's a great way to, I think, share your love of gardening or meeting new people in a positive way, as well as do something nice.
It is, it's good.
Tracey, one more thing from me. Could you update us on the CCTV at the Crossroads and what's going to happen in the future, please?
Yeah, well, the interim period with the CCTV is we're first waiting for the Crossroads. Once the Crossroads are developed, David Wilson Homes are supplying a pole that is standalone. It's not going to be connected to any electrical circuit where Jill can have frizzy hair and possibly be shot across the road. We're going to keep Jill or whoever else as safe as possible when they try and download it. We are so that we move separately onto a separate poll, which is just for the CCTV. It's at that point that we're going to look at replacing the camera, because it won't have, Western Power won't have a gosh knows how much voltage going through it to service the light, which is what's happened before. The power surge has blown the camera. At that point, once we replace that, then we're working with the company to provide remote Wi-Fi access, so that nobody will be on their hands and knees at the crossroads under a lamppost, plugging a laptop into the socket to download our CCTV. So once the work's been completed, then this will take place. Jill's been in discussion with CVS as it is. So we're just waiting for that to happen. And potentially with David Wilson Homes, we're looking at providing something, weren't they, Jill, with the Wi-Fi?
They were.
So if there is an incident at the crossroads, the D.P.C via Jill will download it, will they? And involve the police or whoever as necessary. Is that how it works?
Yeah, it'll be on police request, Ken. So the police will contact us and ask us for data between a certain period, which we will then be able to provide.
Right, got it. Thank you.
Be much more. It'll be.
I don't believe that the current cameras have ever provided any evidence for anything.
Right? We can actually access it.
Yeah. Am I right?
I'm not sure.
Keith might know. Look, he's got his hand up.
No, I'm only going to ask, as myself and Ken are involved in Neighbourhood Watch, are we going to be able to access as well if there's incidents in the middle of the village? Or does it have to go through the police?
Tracy, I think you're frozen.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you, Kenneth. Tracy, you can't hear.
I'm really sorry, but everyone keeps freezing. Well, yeah, we can certainly look at that, because it seems that you should be able to.
I don't see
be able to access. So that.
Yeah, I don't see why it needs to everything go through the police, because they're not going to be interested in a lot of things.
I think it was just. I totally agree with you. Totally agree. I'm not sure, because I wasn't involved in the first policy. I don't think any of us were. I possibly think it might be to stop. Obviously to protect other people, because you're going to be looking at different data. You'll be looking at registrations, etc. Whether that was an issue, whether there was a privacy issue, or whether it was to stop potentially thought there might be numerous requests coming in on a daily basis. I don't know. All we can do is look at it going forward and look at rewriting the policy between us as to what we need in the community. But I don't see any reason why we shouldn't share with Neighbourhood Watch, etc., when incidents have happened in the village.
Yeah, that's fine, thanks.
All right. So we'll have a look at that at a later date. Once we've got the crossroads done, once it's been moved onto a poll of its own, then we can look at that further.
Tracy, how long is it going to take to do the crossroads? I can't remember how long.
I think it's maximum of 12 weeks.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, maximum of 12 weeks. So they're starting as soon as the Paddocks junction's finished, which I think is on till the end of May, according to the signs. Then they're going to come here. They can only have roadworks on one major road at a time. So they've had to wait for Ashbourne Road to finish before they could go to the Paddocks, and then they come to us. Because otherwise it just causes chaos, doesn't it? So, well, that's the next bit in the pipeline. And that's a maximum time, in all fairness. They give themselves that time just to allow in case they overrun. Okay, are we ready to move on, Jill?
Yeah.
Okay, so item number 7, Dunchurch Neighbourhood Development Plan report by Gillian O'Connell of the steering group.
Except that it's Paul. Actually.
No, it's me, Tracy.
Well, my minutes. Oh, sorry, my agenda's wrong. Right, Gillian O'Connell, now known as Paul and Poidevin.
Yeah, by quick change.
Well,
Okay, so yeah, thank you, Tracey and Jill. So work on the neighbourhood development plan has been gathering pace over the past few months, following, I think, is a period of dormancy because of the issues with the council. This has been led by Gillian O'Connell, Councillor Gillian O'Connell, and I would also just like to place on record my thanks to her and also to the other steering group members. So that's our chair, Councillor Tracey Price, and then Ken Knott, Jaine Thornton-Weeks, Jill Peacock, our clerk, Jan Sherwood, and Erica Milwain. I hope I haven't forgotten anybody, Gillian. And then I joined the steering group a few weeks, about a month or so ago, and then also because I'm also leading for the Parish Council on looking at planning applications that come through the council for comment. We felt that the development of the neighbourhood plan and the planning applications had a lot of synergies. So that's why I have now taken over as the lead for the neighbourhood development plan from Gillian. So the neighbourhood development plan is it's an opportunity for the parish to put their views down in writing, which then Rugby Borough Council have to take into account when putting together plans for, particularly for major developments. They don't have to abide by them, but they do have to take notice of them. And the work on the plan has been split into 8 parts: protecting and enhancing the landscape character and views, green infrastructure, protecting and enhancing built heritage assets and their settings, encouraging high quality and sustainable design, providing homes, supporting home working and local businesses, protecting existing community and recreational facilities, protecting and enhancing the local infrastructure. So those 8 parts have been split into various programs. The first one, the protecting and enhancing the landscape character and views, is progressing more quickly, and that's thanks to the efforts of the steering group, and in particular Ken. So our plan is to have a draft document available for Rugby Borough Council to consider by the end of this calendar year. And then once Rugby Borough Council have provided their views on it, then the plan will go to a referendum within the parish. But there's a lot of work to do on those 8 options, and we would welcome additional support and input from anybody within the parish at our meetings to enhance and provide that input to the plan. So if anybody would like to join us, then please contact Jill Peacock, our clerk, and she'll be able to provide you with details. Our next meeting is on the 10th of May, a Zoom meeting. Are there any questions?
I thought we were meeting at the Duncow.
That's the working group.
Yeah. That's the option 1 working group. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
that's what I'm going to. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Can I say a couple of things?
Yeah, sorry, Ken.
First of all, I would, having been involved with the D.P.C as a councillor, I realised that you cover a huge amount of different topics, and that the thought of that might put people off. I just want to stress what you said, Paul, which is that this plan is divided up into 8 different areas. Yep. And if somebody here wants to just be involved in green infrastructure or housing or whatever, that doesn't mean they're going to be expected to put hours and hours of work in, because it's just 1/8 of the whole.
Yeah. So and also it's your views that we are most interested in,
Yeah.
the writing of the document can come from within the leads on the council.
Yeah.
But we need to know what you think. I'm also pleased to announce on this that Paula Twigger from Wonders is going to join us representing some of the businesses and to give us a tie-in to the businesses within the village.
Yeah. And if I could just say something else, we've had support, we paid for it, no doubt, from Avon Planning. Is that the, Jill, is that the right, Gillian, is that the right?
It is Avon Planning.
Yeah. And one thing that Jan said, she's from Avon Planning, at our last meeting, which stuck with me, is that we could, as a council, have a very simple policy on housing saying, we don't want any more new houses. Where there are hundreds or thousands, is it already planned?
Yeah.
So why should there be any more after that? And I think that's worth, rather than waiting for the plan to mature in the next year or so, whether it's something that D.P.C themselves could actually discuss and think about, because it's a very clear statement that Dunchurch has done its bit for the government, for Warwickshire, in building more than its bit in allowing or being forced to have houses built in their parish.
Yeah,
and enough is enough.
That's right, Ken. I mean, you know, and that's what I think what Jan was saying is that's from Dunchurch's meeting their housing allocation for the plan, which ran from 2011 up to 2031.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we understand what those needs will be through the Southwest Plan. Yeah. And yes, you know, we are able to put that into our document and say, this is our view. We do not want to go over.
I understand that, Paul. But what I'm saying is, rather than waiting a year or so for the document to come out, whether it's something that the current D.P.C could just talk about their current policy and their attitude towards future planning applications. For instance, there's an application, I believe, pending for the area at the A45 exit roundabout down the dual carriageway, where there was going to be a hotel, and now there's suggestion that there may be yet more houses.
Well, there's an application. Well, it's not an application because this is
a reserved matters application.
Reserved matters, which meant that the application for 86 houses on that site was approved several years ago, and this is now the detail about what the houses will look like and so on. So, so yeah, we're in a similar position. It was
going to be a hotel, though, wasn't it?
It was going to be, yeah. But also, there was an approved application for 86 houses on that site.
Right. Okay.
So, you know, we're coming across this a lot now, where we are getting detailed planning applications based on outline applications that were accepted several years ago.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is, if D.P.C could be, and really it's you, isn't it? Because you take the lead, could just take that attitude.
Yeah. So if you're looking at the option 5, providing homes, I think we could do that one pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Or just referring to the Southwest Plan.
Yeah.
And getting that out for discussion. Okay. Yeah. No, I think you're quite right, Ken. Thank you. Any further questions? Yes. Well, you're very welcome to participate in these option group meetings.
No, can I just intervene here, please? Mr. Waller, you're aware that the public are not permitted to attend the majority of meetings. There'll be a quarterly meeting in which the public can participate. I think Councillor Poidevin is more inferring to the fact that anybody can join a working party and become part of the neighbourhood plan to help develop it. So that's the idea of engaging the community to actually help formulate the plan, not just attend the meetings.
Can I? No, Paul, it's a steering group. It's not a decision-making body at all. And the steering group reports to the D.P.C, and the D.P.C is open to the public, and the D.P.C makes their decisions. So if members of the public don't want to actually be involved in constructive work, but just want to go along and observe and make comments, then they have to do it at monthly D.P.C meetings. Is that right, Tracey?
That's quite right, Ken. Yeah, that's quite right. The parish council meet. We're talking about the ordinary parish council meetings.
It's a steering group. It's not. The point is, we want constructive comment.
Paul, that is absolute nonsense. Absolute hogwash. And Ken has made extremely clear of what the situation actually is and how things work and process and procedures and why things are the way they are. Hand over to you, Tracey.
Thank you, Marie. Mr. Waller, when the public were, prior to us changing the terms of reference and changing the neighbourhood plan committee from a committee to a working party steering group, you were at the meetings, you were at there when the terms of reference were amended, where it was decided that the members of the public would be excluded from the meetings as a general whole, because it was just a discussion. The whole reasoning was put at that meeting as to explain the reasons behind doing this. It isn't to prevent or hide anything from the public. We're very open. People can come and join us, to join the working parties, ask questions of our clerk to find out what's going on. We publish our agenda, although we don't have to legally because we're a working group. We publish the minutes, which we don't have to legally, but because we want to be transparent and open to the public. However, it was felt that it was putting pressure on people when we are being observed by people just not paying any, taking any interest apart from to observe our meetings. It was pointless. We want people to actually be involved as members of the community and actually formulate the plan of the community that they care about. It isn't about red tape or criticising. It's about people working together, and that's why we've decided to be a working group steering party as opposed to a committee, for the sake of being a committee. Everybody, every member of the public, this is all going to be coming out more now that the plan is taking shape, with each option, as Paul's alluded to, with each option asking members of the public to become involved in their community. So members of the public they're not excluded from the D.P.C meetings, but they are excluded as a general whole from the working party. However, we are looking at allowing the public quarterly in just to discuss the matter further, and we are always keeping the public abreast with any changes or any thought processes in formulating the plan for our village. I don't think this is going to take us any further forward, to be honest, because I think this is just going to go round and round in circles. This is a separate issue that can be addressed later. I suggest that we'll make a point of this, Jill, if we can.
Certainly.
And we'll move on, because we're just going to go round and round in circles. Has anybody else got any questions on the neighbourhood development plan and Councillor Poidevin's report? No, okay, we'll move on then to item number 8, Jill, reports from the community organisations.
Right, well, I've got several reports that I've been sent. One is from the Lem Valley Community First Responders. For those of you who do not know about Lem Valley Community First Responders, they form part of a coordinated approach to saving lives. We are volunteers who live within the Lem Valley area. They work in partnership with the West Midlands Ambulance Service, responding to 999 calls from our own homes using their own vehicles. They do not respond in place of an ambulance, but bridge the gap between the 999 call and the arrival of the paramedic or ambulance. However, as a first responder, they will attend a wide range of trauma or medical related emergencies, including cardiac arrest, heart attacks, strokes, unconsciousness, choking, epilepsy, diabetes related incidents, and road traffic accidents. They are a non-profit organisation and have to fundraise in their own right for any uniform, equipment, insurance, etc., which is required. They do this by public donations, by doing talks, first aid at events, selling items at craft fairs and fetes, and as it would be beneficial for the communities within the Lem Valley area if they are currently trying to raise funds or sponsorship for a scheme car. West Midlands Ambulance Service have just had a recruitment drive and are in the process of doing interviews. So hopefully the community first responders will be expanding. They cover the CV23 postcode, part of CV23 and Dunchurch. The area stretches from the edge of Holton. Holton itself is covered by our colleagues in Rugby. Ashby St Ledgers, Kilsby, Barby, Flecknoe, Broadwell, Marton, Princethorpe, Stratton-on-Dunsmore, Thurleston, Dunchurch, Onley, Willoughby, and all the villages or hamlets, 23 in total in between. Apparently they have seen a second defib which has been sourced and placed outside the library, and most of you know about that. And we hope, as previously discussed, the resuscitation group can be reactivated in the not too distant future, and a third defibrillator can be procured for the Toft end of the village. Once West Midland Ambulance Service gives them the go-ahead, they look forward to coming along to a meeting and commencing CPR training. And they're very sorry that they couldn't attend this evening's meeting, and they would like to thank everybody for their time.
Thanks, Jill.
Comments on that?
These are the people, aren't they, who we actually had a really good response from the village over a year ago now, when I first kind of made some contacts and got some details, and I sent them a good 20 email addresses of people in the village that wanted to become part of the resus on-call team that would go out with defibs in cardiac arrest. So it would be good if we actually, you know, when it does actually happen and it's able to get started, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Right, the second report is from the youth service, and that's sort of almost sort of, you know, in bullet point form. The activities that the youth service offer, and they're actually the play rangers that are employed by Rugby Borough Council. And so the activities they offer are a mix of play, arts and sports, including dance and music activities for children. They also include themes that correspond to the time of the year, such as Easter, Christmas, Mother's Day, etc. The sessions are run weekly to create a regular and effective engagement. And the sessions run for 1.5 hours, usually split up to 45 minutes for crafts and 45 minutes for sports and games. Excuse me. The target age range is 5 to 13. And the cost per session for 2 play rangers for 2 hours, including prep and pack down, is £17 for 2 hours, which equals £68 per session. Resources, equipment and planning time is not charged for. And I think that the parish council will need to think about the location if they're going to continue. And so perhaps that's something we can put on the agenda at some time.
Absolutely.
Anybody got any questions again?
Do you know in terms of data how many children went?
Yes.
And what was it?
I'm afraid I can't actually remember, but I can remember asking. Okay. I felt it was about 17, but I can pick out the email.
Are these the
5
same
to 10, I think it says, Jill.
Sorry?
It says 5 to 10. It was well attended before lockdown, 5 to 10. They're hoping to get the same for the moment before looking to get up to 15 to 20 when restrictions ease.
Okay.
Is it still, will it still be the same time? It used to be like 5 o'clock on a Monday, and it used to go from a very young age to a very old age. And I questioned at the time over a year ago, when I was on the parish council, asking how do they fulfill the needs of a 4-year-old child and a 13-year-old child with very different needs when you've only got 2 play ranges, and how do you accommodate that? And how do you also protect, for example, they've got play ranges at Hillmorton that they let over 10-year-olds go out and walk to shops on their own, and they could do what they like. And play ranges, that's part of why it was getting reviewed at the time. What in terms of their responsibility was, if I hand my child over for safeguarding reasons, somebody's going to look after my child, I would expect that play ranger to be with my child for the whole time. They would not be allowed to leave the premises to go off, to go to the local, even to the park on their own. And that's what was alluded to have happened before. So I just wanted to clarify what their responsibilities are, who they are, what they provide, what they offer, what the age ranges are. There's lots more into it than just
I think that if it's going to be reinstated, they need to come to a parish council meeting and those questions are put to them, or even before the meeting, those questions are sent to them and they answer it, and we have maybe a bit more robust policies from them that says this is what we will do and this is how we will do it. And then one of us, we take it in turns every 4 weeks to drop in unannounced and just check that what they say is on that policy is what's on. I know there's a youth kind of thing going on at the minute on the village on a Wednesday afternoon, which is amazing on paper, but my understanding of what's actually happening at that is also not ideal. So I agree with you in that, Marie, massively, especially like you say, a 4-year-old and a 13-year-old. And my other concern with play rangers is they forget about the over 13-year-olds. It's like nothing for the 14, 15 and 16-year-olds. So I think that if we reinstate it, we ask those questions and get it made a lot more robust. We need a better policy and safeguarding for sure.
And to be strategic in what they're going to offer and and promote. So when so it just needs far more. That's what I would be asking. So thank you.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll be all over that. Well, everyone will be all over that, but I'm like Little Miss Safeguarding. I'll be on that.
Good.
just to clarify as well, Marie, that the actual age range is between 5 and 13. So you're right. That's their target age range.
And because I did 2 drop-ins, I just turned up. There was 2 children there and there was 3 children there. And the cost of it, I thought, how are we paying this amount of money for the sake of 2 children?
I mean, I know they've done some really good stuff in the school holidays. Certainly in Lawford and Hillmorton, they've put on some fantastic stuff in the holidays, which has been really well attended in those places because the parents have gone and it's been more of a kind of a family fun day. That's been great. But the actual weekly youth stuff, that's something that will need to be properly looked into. I think you're right.
I think it needs to be more strategic in what they offer, who they offer it to. Like, for example, 5 o'clock till 6:30 is not ideal for probably any parent that I know. That either you've got your children homeschool, you're getting tea, or I know you're doing another extra school activity or you're just literally happy to get them back in the house, or you're having to go pick up your child from after school club, are you going to go drop them off for another hour and a half and then go pick them up again? And they're conflicting also with times with guides and scouts and clubs. So that's something else to think, what else is he offering in the Dunchurch that already exists, and how can you enhance it?
Absolutely. We also are going to start the discussions about the youth provision for the teenage bracket, so between 11 to 15, 16, where there is at the moment nothing for the kids to do apart from hang around, at which point they get tarred with the brush of they're hanging around, they're causing nuisance. So that's going to be work in the pipeline for teenage development. Okay, any more questions on that? Whizzing around my screen. No. Jill, do you have any more reports?
That's it.
That's it. Okay. So we move. Oh, sorry. Hi, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I can offer some reports on the organisations that I'm involved with. Paul, I think, might say something about the Pantomaniacs. I don't know if Keith wants to say anything about the village hall, if you're there, Keith. Is Keith not there anymore?
I think he said no.
Well, the village hall has been obviously wrapped up in cotton wool for most of the last year. The facilities that or the arrangements that we have been able to do, for instance, for the religious groups, etc., they've been continuing. Paul Poidevin was instrumental in us getting some government help, and there's been a regime of trying to minimise the amount of money going out, because obviously it costs quite a lot of money to maintain the building even when it's empty. But we've been very punctilious, John Chard and Paul Smith, who's just retired, and now Phil Freeman is in the chair. Been very alert to everything that the government were requiring of us, and planning the return as soon as all the rules point in the right direction. So the village hall is in good heart, and obviously hoping to get back a lot of the customers that they lost from during the pandemic. Their record prior to that was absolutely outstanding, and I'm sure they will do everything they possibly can to get up to speed again. As far as the festival group is concerned, obviously we had to suspend most of our operations, and we've been able to arrange, hopefully in September, if everything's okay, a kind of family fun day. The idea being that would be a family picnic at the village hall. We'll have a bit of entertainment, the Punch and Judy. We're hoping that the ladies' choir might be there. We hope the band might be there. But principally, it'll be a family picnic. Come one, come all. There'll be no charge. There will be various stalls that are there from the village and commercially. So if people want to support the village stalls, or indeed the commercial stalls, they'll have that opportunity. We're also involved in trying to put a play together at the end of, when is it, Paul? Is it October?
Beginning of October.
Yeah, the beginning of October. We're hoping to put a play on that Paul's involved with. A very funny play called Ladies' Day. From the point of view of staging it, it's a bit of a challenge because it starts in a fish factory in Hull and then moves to York racecourses. So we'll be reproducing that in the village hall, and it should be very good fun. We got our fingers crossed for that. As far as the tennis group is concerned, the parish council are aware that we would like to get some 106 money, if that is possible. Bear in mind the thousands of houses that are going to be built around the village. We think this would be an ideal opportunity for the village to get something back by the provision of tennis courts. Tennis hasn't been played in the village since the 1950s, There used to be grass courts at the village or sports field site, and we'd like to renew that. It would not only be for tennis, it would be for netball. We have the Sport and Netball Association. There's a new sport called pickleball, which we'd also like to introduce there. So we've got our fingers crossed for some 106 money. It's an expensive project, but one I think would be very well supported. And finally, my involvement with Save Dunchurch. I think I've probably kept in touch with Jill and the Parish Council on some of my letters that have been addressed variously to the advertiser or the Rugby Borough Council, or indeed from time to time Warwickshire County Council. We haven't been able to meet as groups, any of those groups, but we've managed to keep our presence felt to a certain extent on behalf of the community.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Mike. That's a great update. And thank you for all your hard work in your, I don't have your time, all the various groups that you're a key player in. But thank you for that.
Right.
I'm interested in the play, the group from Hull to the races. Not quite sure. Are you involved in Gary the Fishman?
Well, we'll probably invite all the ladies to play there with their fancy hats and all the gentlemen their flat caps and fedoras. So I think it'll be great fun. And Paul is going to be playing 6 different male parts. And
wow.
The most outstanding one is that he plays an 8'4" jockey. So stand by for that one.
Yeah, with an Irish accent. Yeah.
I did it is. Boy, he's the boy. Are you going to the pantomime now, Paul?
Yes. So, Dunchurch Pantomaniacs. So I think it's 31 years or 31 performances that the panto has been going. And unfortunately, 2021 was the first time that we had not run a panto in that over 30 years due to COVID. Sue Protheroe had written another excellent script for us, The Pie Rats of Penzance. And we were all ready to go with it, really, but then we had to cancel in sort of September last year because we begin our rehearsals in October for performance that is given at the end of January. So we're carrying over the Pirates of Penzance to 2022, COVID permitting, and as long as we can meet safely in the village hall, then we will be going out for our auditions in September and starting rehearsals October, November for our performances at the end of January 2022. However, the reason that we do the panto is to raise money for local funds, very similar to the festival committee. And although we didn't raise any money last year, we did have some reserves, which enabled us to make additional donations to the air ambulance, Rugby First Responders and Lem Valley First Responders, in recognition of the amazing efforts that they were doing with the pandemic. And I think that they were gratefully received. We know that the air ambulance is a dear charity that we support each year, and also then the Lem Valley First Responders provide us with first aid cover during our run. So we're very pleased to support them as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be there at the end of the year. We've just got to make sure that everybody can do it safely.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That's brilliant. Thank you. I think we need to organise a parish council outing to the pantomime, just so that we can support our councillor in his jockey outfit. I think that's got to be worth attending.
That's the play in September. That's different to the pantomime.
That is the play.
Yeah.
Oh, so we need to do both then, right? Okay. Well, we'll be there. Just let us know, Paul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't mind the date from us, will you? Mr. Protheroe, hello.
Hello. Yeah, although I'm not a committee member, I thought it might be opportune just to update you on Friends of Dunchurch Society. We're actively working towards the RHS 2021 awards and also the Heart of England awards, where we're in the final representing large villages. The judging is going to take place remotely via photograph and written evidence during early July. We've currently got 31 troughs out through various residents of the village who are going to kindly plant them up and decorate. There'll be 19 wheelbarrows which have been taken by various organisations within the village, which are going to be planted and located in different locations within the village. And there's going to be 100 hanging baskets available to sale to businesses and residents around the centre of the village. Like other organisations, we've not been able to do any fundraising because of COVID, other than one recently over Easter where we did a virtual balloon race courtesy of Keith Brushett, and that raised £200, which obviously helps towards the coffers. So we're still actively working. There's a small working group out most Sundays, as you'll have seen, trying to keep on top of the village in terms of weeding, etc. And again, everybody's welcome to attend that as and when they can. So I think that's, unless Keith, the other Keith's got anything else to add, I think that, oh, sorry, the other thing that we're just starting to look at in conjunction with RBC is the project of the orchard in Hall Close, which Rugby Borough Council have asked whether or not we'd be interested in taking over the looking after of that site. We have done some initial work in terms of creating a path around the orchard, but we're going to be looking to people like the Brownies, Scouts, etc., to see if they want to take on a small area of the orchard as projects for their own groups. But obviously that's in very early stages at the moment. I think that was about it, really.
That's brilliant. Thank you. That'd be a great use. It'd be nice to see the orchard back to its full height, shall we say? Because I had to visit.
Yeah.
It'd be good. I had to visit a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, you just think it's got such potential. It'd be a fabulous open space for the public.
Yeah, it's really big as well. Now that we've got the path, we've cut a path around it, and it's really huge, really. So it's yeah, a big job.
Brilliant. That's great. It's great to get the rest of the community involved as well, with the Scouts and the Brownies and other. Yeah, it's good project for them.
Yeah.
Tracey, can I ask
fabulous.
What's happening with the spinny? What's happening with the spinny?
Who are you talking to? Sorry.
You, sorry. Well, any D.P.C person. What's happening with the spinny?
Which spinny are you talking about?
The one, isn't it Hazelwood Close? So over a year ago, there was D.P.C charges. I'm thinking a long time ago in my head, there's a spinny that we're meant to have access to that's currently got a lock on a door on a gate that I've gone over, looked over, and you can't access it.
Jill has picked this up. Jill has been speaking to RBC. This is probably within the last 6 months, and has chased it a couple of times with regards to, because we've had complaints about somebody cutting things down in there. Yeah. That they shouldn't be accessing, and we are still trying to determine who actually owns the land.
Tracy,
you're under the impression it's Rugby Borough Council.
It is Rugby Borough Council. I made a private inquiry for one of my neighbours, and it is Rugby Borough Council, because they wanted the trees are overhanging there. We are cutting a lot of light out.
Yeah.
And the tree,
right? Yeah. Well,
there's no obligation to cut the trees down.
Okay. Well, that's brilliant. If Paul, would you be able to feed that back to Jill, because Jill's been making inquiries on that? That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I've got a land registry information about who owns it as well. So
thank you.
That's great, thank you. Okay, are we ready to move on, Jill?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So item number 9 is an open forum and a report from other bodies. Have we got any report from any other bodies? I think we've had them all, haven't we? No. Yeah, I think so. So this is an open forum where members of the community can ask questions, raise any concerns. If you'd like to put your hand up, then we will come to you. Shout if I don't see you, because there's lots of little pictures. Oh, okay. Yep, sure. Jill, would you be able to come in here, or do we defer this for a later time? Because we've talked about this.
We have. I found out some additional information, but I would rather sort of send that on outside the meeting, if that would be possible. So if I can defer it, because I need to look up at, because it's quite a while ago.
Yes.
I would prefer to look at my past historical correspondence.
That's perfectly fine. We did follow it up, and you have the up-to-date information on the green spaces, namely the village green areas. So that will be fed back to you, Mr. Waller, on that. Well, as I've said, Mr. Waller, you resigned then in the March. With the pandemic that started, obviously everything became apparent when everything got shut down in March. Mrs. Peacock has actually followed it up, and she will get back to you with the full details. I don't want to give you duff information. We want to give you the correct information. So therefore, she will feed back to you once she has the relevant information to hand. Right. Does anybody else have any other questions in the open forum?
Can I ask about, in terms of green spaces, I live in Dew Close, and there's a variety of lovely little bit of areas, a bit of grass that I see random people lovely mow it and think they take over and they think, oh, it's lovely. I just want to know who actually owns it. So like, for example, in front of the infant school, at the back of the infant school, there's 2 patches of grass that the school don't own, because they don't. I know that for a fact. Then if you go down Dew Close, we've got a little patch of grass that's beautiful. It's got a tree in it. It's got a bench in it. It's been neglected for a very long time. And I thought that's a space that could be used for a community project. But I thought, who owns the land? That's what I wanted to find out. And then there's an alleyway connecting, I can never know the road of the close that's over there. I thought, who owns that in terms of, so then like a map of who owns what, so everybody knows whose responsibility and accountability, to then make plans or look after, or so everybody knows what's what, so we can use it to everybody's advantage, really. That's
yeah, with regards to those open spaces, I know that Ken, I think it is, I spoke to Chris Warman. Was it you, Ken? Sorry.
Yeah, this I think is going to be at the heart of the subgroup meeting that we're going to have in the Duncow in a week or so. We don't have any, I mean, our task, according to Jan from Avon Planning, we need to know where the green spaces are, who owns them, and who has responsibilities. And that's a task that we've got to pursue. It's not going to be easy. And if anybody, as Marie says, if anybody's already got any maps or any details, then that would help us on our way.
Okay, great. So we'll defer that for we'll speak about that next week at the neighbourhood plan. Sorry. Hi, Trevor.
Fine.
Trevor, you're muted.
Sorry, I suggest that Jill writes to Warwickshire Highways first. They have extensive mappings of any green areas that under their ownership. So that might be a useful starting point. We had a similar issue in our parish council, and Warwickshire Highways provided the answers to at least 70 or 80% of the issues.
Oh,
okay.
Brilliant. Thank you. That's great. Thank you. Hi, Keith Protheroe.
Just for Marie, I think the piece of land around the corner that you're alluding to, we were always told that was owned by Bryant's, the builders.
Oh, right.
So I assume therefore that it still does, unless they've been taken over by anybody, I don't know.
The what land?
No, these are other areas, I think, Paul.
Now, if you go down due close, it bears round to the left, and before the final houses, there's a strip of land in between two houses which has got a bench on it, and that I understand was owned by Bryant. But it might have been kept as a piece of land to create a road or at some point, but never has been.
That's great, thank you. Ken?
Can I just ask Trevor Gill, please, if you have any specific contacts that you think we should contact about our green spaces? Maybe you could let
I know who to contact, know. Ken.
Yeah, pardon, Jill?
I know who to contact.
Oh, right. I was going to ask him to pass you the information. Clearly not needed.
No, well, I know. Yeah, I'm happy to contact the highways guy.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Hi, Gillian.
Hello, everybody. It's just to come back to Marie's point about pieces of land within the parish that could potentially be built on. I think one of the things we've been talking about in the steering group is a really critical piece of work, and that's a call for sites in which we need to identify and map out throughout the parish any pieces and identify the ownership. So the land registry issue comes into play then, so that we identify very clearly where these potential sites might be, who owns them, and in order to ensure that we don't suddenly find, as we have done in the past, that planning applications just go through and we know very little about them. So we need to get ahead of this rather than reacting, I think, to finding out things almost after the fact. So that is something which within the steering group we've been talking quite a lot about, the need to be proactively identifying where developments might take place and anticipating a little bit more about where might be potential development opportunities.
Yeah, agree, totally agree. Thanks, Jill.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Has anybody else got any further questions or suggestions for us in the open forum? Hello, Mr. Judge.
Just one thing. I've been incredibly impressed by everything that's happened with regard to the first and second jabs for people in the village. I know so many people who have appreciated the alacrity with which it's all been handled, and our local surgery being in touch with us and alerting us to opportunities, making the arrangements, etc. And I think it would be very nice if, as a village or as a parish council, we thanked all the commissioners and the hospital and all the people involved in helping to get the jabs in the arms of everybody. I think it's been an absolutely outstanding effort. I think we are incredibly well served by our own surgery. I've had an occasion the last year to call on their services a very great deal, but in particular, to do with the pandemic, I think it would be nice for us to register as a village our thanks to them.
I think that's a great idea. Thank you, Mike. I'm aware at the time that we have the most concentrated area of 90 to 95-year-olds in the county of Warwickshire, in the village of Dunchurch, or in the parish. So it's no mean feat, considering that they were the first priority group to be vaccinated, and it all flowed very, very smoothly, didn't it? So we'll pass on the community's thanks and acknowledge their achievements. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Has anybody else got anything to add before we move on?
I was just going to say, Tracy, with regards to that, can we send them a letter maybe from us, from the
Yes, I think that's a great idea.
Do all of the different things.
I was just about to say, would you like me to send a letter?
Yeah.
I think that would be brilliant.
Yes, please.
Definitely.
Yes, please. I think that would be great, because they really have excelled. Hi, Ken. You're on mute, Ken. You need to unmute. I can lip read, though.
I just want to say thank you to you, Tracy, and to Jill, and to all the councillors. If you look back at where we were this time last year, you've come an awful long way. So thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Thank you. We do try. We do. It's a really, really positive team, which is we're making headway. We all feel very positive. So thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate that. Okay, so moving on then. Jill, are you ready?
Yep.
Okie dokie. So moving on to item number 10 is parishioners' motion, which has been received from Paul Waller. So please bear with me, because I have to follow this very strictly. So we confirm that Mr. Waller has requested an agenda item, and I shall read this verbatim, that we, the villagers, have no confidence in Dunchurch Parish Council to effectively promote and maintain parishioners' rights in respect of the same council. Mr. Waller, obviously you've asked for this motion to go on the agenda. I'd ask if you'd like to speak about your motion. Okay. I have an obligation, a legal obligation, to ask if there is a seconder for the motion.
Can you repeat the motion?
To repeat the motion, certainly. Before I will repeat it, but before we do, just in case there is somebody to second, I just ask if you'd raise your hand or use the hand icon so that I can see, and if not, wave furiously so that I can get my attention. So item number 10 on the agenda is the parishioners' motion from Mr. Waller that we, the villagers, have no confidence in Dunchurch Parish Council to effectively promote and maintain parishioners' rights in respect of the same council. Mr. Waller's chosen not to speak on the item. However, he is proposing, he's proposed this is on the agenda, and I ask if there is a seconder for the motion? I can't see anyone. Okay.
Oh, no.
No, I don't think so.
So the motion fails.
Thank you, Mr. Judge.
Thank you very much. Sorry, you broke up there. Sorry, Mr. Waller, you broke up there, and I think my screen's freezing. Okay. Oh, sorry. Hi, Keith. Protheroe. Hi, Keith. You're on mute.
Sorry, I was getting ready to say something under the thank you section, so I'll wait my turn.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So the motion's failed. We move on, Jill?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okie dokie, thank you. So moving on to item 11, vote of thanks and formal closure of the meeting. Mr. Protheroe.
Well, I'd just like to say, contrary to the last motion, I'd like to express my sincere thanks to the Parish Council, and I would say that I have every confidence in them dealing with things in an efficient manner, as they have done so since they were set up last March after you were left in the lurch. But I'd just like to say thank you very much.
Yeah.
Here.
We agree. We parishioners agree.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. That's greatly appreciated. So with nothing further to add, we'll bring the meeting to a formal closure. I'd like to thank everybody. Thank you all for your support and your ongoing support through the very difficult times, but it's been a great year, and we will progress further with the help of our community, and we'll strive with our community to make it the success it deserves. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Good night. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks, Howie. Good night, everybody.
Night, Jill.
I'll speak to you soon, Trevor.